Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to Low Carb Recipe Ideas. Today we're going to make low carb scalloped rutabagas. Instead of scalloped potatoes, we're going to substitute the potatoes for rutabagas. And it's quite delicious and it's low carb and that's what we're looking for. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our rutabaga and we're going to get it prepared for cooking. So we're going to cut off the ends. Rutabagas are hard to work with, as in they're very solid. So now we're just going to take our peeler and we're going to start peeling. There we go. So now we're going to cut the rutabaga, and they're very hard, so you have to be very careful with your knife. So make sure your fingers are out of the way. We'll start out by cutting them in 4. And then we'll just cut them each quarter one more time, just to make it easier for slicing them up for the potatoes, the pretend potatoes. There we go. Now I'm fortunate enough to have a slicer, so I will be slicing my rutabagas up with my slicer, but you can also just use your knife and take your time and slice. So it's very nice to have the slicer. It's so much easier to work with. So those are the sizes I'm getting. I can make them thinner, but I like them a little bit thicker for my scalloped rutabagas. And I will continue working on slicing the rest. There we go. So now I'm going to take a dish and throw my rutabagas in the dish, and guaranteed I always drop something on the floor. And I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to use the dish that I'm going to be baking my potatoes, my rutabagas in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 cans of Campbell mushroom soup, and I'm going to put them in the dish. And I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup of almond breeze. Now almond breeze, I use it in substitute for milk. There's like 1 net carb per cup of almond breeze, and I'm just going to put a 1/2 cup in because I find there's a lot of moisture that comes from the rutabagas that I don't need a lot of liquid, and I'd like it to be creamier when I'm finished. And I'm going to put in a cup of chopped up white onions, the yellow onions, they're the onions here. Okay, so I'm going to bring over my dish here, and I'm going to put all the ingredients in to the rutabagas, just so that I can mix it up a little bit better in the big bowl compared to this bowl, because it can be quite sloppy. So I will stir this in. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And it's just for taste, and it's up to you how much you want to put in. And a little bit of salt. And mix it. They sure look like scalloped potatoes, and I think you're going to be quite surprised. And it's a nice way to use the rutabagas because they do have a different flavor in the first place. So putting a little bit of the ingredients in with it really helps. Okay, so now we're going to dump it into our baking dish. It looks so good, and it's going to be so creamy. Get my spatula and clean out my mixing bowl. So now the last thing we need to do is we're going to put slices of bacon on our low-carb scalloped rutabagas. It's absolutely delicious. You're going to be very surprised on the flavor. I think you'll like it. Okay. Now the bacon I use is Snyder's Country Natural. It doesn't have any carbs in it, and it doesn't have any preservatives in it. And this is what I highly recommend. So you need to really check your labels, because on the back a lot of times they have maple, they have different sugars in your bacon, and that's adding carbs to your count, so you don't want that. So I've got the oven on at 375. We're going to put the rutabagas in the center rack for about an hour and a half, and it shall be done. Hi, I'm Gail, and welcome back to Low Carb Recipe Ideas. Today we're going to use the crock pot, and we're going to cook a corned beef brisket and cabbage, carrots, and then we're going to put a lovely mustard sauce on the meat when it's finished. So let's get started.